Welcome back. This is the Marketplace. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, should move in and carry out tax audits of all the oil exploration firms in the country. That's the recommendation coming from the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC. This concern was contained in the committee's half-year report on oil revenue management sent to Joy Business. George Riafe has more.
According to PIAC, this call has been influenced by concerns with tax payments by some of these operators on the country's oil fields. The committee is also pushing for more collaboration with the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure that surface rentals due the state are accurately assessed and invoiced properly. It is also asking the finance minister to ensure that proceeds from the energy sector bonds are judiciously managed to eliminate those debts that are actually threatening the existence of some companies in the energy sector. The minister has also been criticized for flouting Section 29 of the Public Revenue Management Act on the reconstitution of the Investment Advisory Committee that should advise the finance minister on management of petroleum funds. PIAC also puts the Ghana National Gas Company's indebtedness to GNPC as of June this year at $34 million. There were also issues about delays in payment by the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, to the Petroleum Holding Fund.
And that was a business desk report by George Riafe. The Ghana Standards Authority says it expects a verdict from the presidency within the next 2 weeks on which institution is authorized to certify gold for export. The Standards Authority has disagreed with the Precious Mineral Marketing Company Limited on which of the two institutions has the mandate to do certification. According to data from the central bank, the development has resulted in a revenue loss of over $25 billion in gold sales to the state between 2010 and 2015. The issue is currently before the presidency, and the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, says he expects an amicable solution soon.
I want to hope that we would really resolve it. The PMC does not certify. It can test gold, but the certification process is more complex. We are the ISO body, so we would visit, inspect, test before we give a certificate. That is what the laws of Ghana say. So we are in.
And just by way of education again, for large-scale exporters, who certifies the products?
Currently, no one. So
is that international best practice?
No. Ghana, for all products leaving Ghana, the state of Ghana must take control of the products, whether it's our oil or our gold. And normally, a national, usually standards or measuring institution will take the product, check its weight and purity, because that represents money. Then when the product is exported, it's reconciled with the inflows to be sure that what was exported has been repatriated back, so that finance will get its fair, government will get its fair share of tax and related revenues. For large-scale operators, what the operators give us is what we take. And that is set to change, hopefully, because it's critically important that we take control of all those things as a country.
And to the extent that you had to be called by the Chief of Staff, both parties, what's the state of affairs right now in terms of discussions on who is rightly placed to do the authorization?
The discussion with the Chief of Staff was very amicable. Indeed, it was friendly, and it was focused on one main thing: getting progress and getting people to move forward, or their organization institutions to move forward. It's still an ongoing discussion. Parliament was also involved. So we are hoping that within a week or two, government will give clarity. But seriously speaking, there are no problems.
You are meeting the Vice President, we understand. Is that what it is?
I don't know whether I'm meeting the Vice President, but I am definitely going to the seat of government for a meeting. And that meeting will be related to these issues. And we are hoping that somehow there'll be some form of resolution.
Okay. How soon do you hope this is resolved? Because we also understand that the state is losing millions, if not billions, because of the fact that, we are not able to establish whether or not we are exporting quality gold.
I think insofar as the issue of revenue is concerned, we all want this to be resolved as soon as possible. My hope and my belief is that government would give directions through Parliament or through the seat of government on the next steps. I'll be surprised if this goes on beyond 2 weeks.
Moving on to other stories, the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana is calling on government to define its new role in the supply chain of the new liquefied petroleum gas distribution model when the policy is rolled out next year. The association has therefore given up to the 13th of December 2017 to address the concerns. The following report has more.
The decision by government to introduce the new cylinder recirculation policy of LPG distribution nationwide continues to cause some agitation among LPG gas marketers. Last week, there were some reports making rounds that LPG Marketers Association had intentions to embark on strike should government fail to heed to their demands by Wednesday, the 13th of December this year. Per the newly introduced model, all gas cylinders will be filled by cylinder bottling plants for onward delivery to retailers. However, Public Relations Officer of the association, Mr. Bernardo Redu, says as much as the marketers laud government's decision to implement this policy, the Energy Ministry needs to come clear on their role within the value chain.
Once we are market players, if government is going to roll out a policy which initially we were against, but now we've shifted our position, we should have a clear cut, a defined role for us, so that it won't be as if we would have to go wrestle for places and spaces out there with other people. We should just be picked and put straight somewhere along the distribution chain or the value chain. This is not in the policy as we have it.
Bernardo Redu is also advocating the concurrent running of the already existing model of LPG distribution and the new recirculation model for Ghanaians to make their own choice.
Government says cylinder recirculation is best. We believe that our system, our current module, we as an association believe that our current module is the best if it is improved upon in terms of the safety. Okay, what about the descending Ghanaian in the middle? Why don't you give the Ghanaian the opportunity to experience the two?
After a series of gas explosions in some parts of the country, including the capital, with the recent one being the atomic filling station explosion, governments thought it wise to come up with a policy to help forestall any of such occurrences. Now, the recirculating policy is a policy that intends to bottle gas before distributing to the users. Now, meaning that what you see behind me is all going to cease in some months to come, because people will not be able to bring their empty cylinders to stations to be refilled, but rather would bring their empty cylinders to be swapped for already filled ones. Consumers, on the other hand, have met government's intentions with mixed reactions. Some have applauded the idea, while others have raised concerns over safety precautions.
Some drivers like me have to bring our cars to the station. What then will happen to us?
This new policy won't be good for some of us. We will not be able to buy half-filled cylinders like we used to do.
I think it's very good because you don't waste your time, and also as you are coming, it's already filled. So you just come and change your bottle.
Licensing for the recirculation policy will begin in January, while the system to be fully implemented later next year. For Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
It's live on the marketplace. Let's now do some mining stories. And government's continued ban on small-scale and illegal mining activities leave operators with no alternative sources of livelihood. Joy News has been exploring the subject as we assess the impact of the ban on mining and locals in mining communities. Nana Asensu Mensah has been in the mining communities and has filed this report.
The initial 6-month government ban on small-scale mining meant to save devastation of the environment was due to end last October, but extended by 3 months. Although government has committed $100 million to reclaim land destroyed by illegal miners, and lots of pits remain uncovered nationwide. Some youth who have been displaced by the ban are struggling to find alternatives. We find out at Adumenu in the Amansia Central District of the Ashanti region. Despite deployment of anti-Galamsey Task Force, Operation Vanguard, they still invade the mining site with their tools in search of waste materials for processing into gold. Abubakar echoes the concerns of his peers.
Because our president said he is going to bring so many work for the individual people to do. And we said the work too didn't come. And our president to say he's stopping the work. So what are we going to do now? No work for us to do. That's why we are all forcing coming here right now.
So what if you hear the Operation Vanguard is coming? What are you going to do?
If they comes, we will run. If they comes, we will run, and they go, then we come because we can't stop the work.
The story of some of the youth opting to look beyond Ghana into Libya, of all places, can shock any visitor to the community. Michael John speaks worriedly about how his friend had died on the perilous journey through the Sahara Desert en route to Europe.
My friend, he left here this year, the month February, but I heard that he went Libya, and when he get there, things were difficult for him there. So he decided to leave from Libya to Italy, but he didn't reach there.
At Kotokuom in the Achiman-Pona district, also in the Ashanti region, a similar trend among the out-of-job miners pertains. Here is chief of the Zongo community, Jibril Ibrahim, who is worried about the loss of active youth in such manner.
Libya, so when they were here now, no more family and tack woman, number of the
citrus farmer Joseph Oususetre contemplates a trip through the Sahara region to Europe despite government warning. He is worried his produce never attracts the usual high patronage market due to the ban on mining.
So I'm prepared to live in Ghana. If Cote d'Ivoire, Libya, if I don't get stay at my hometown and I'm suffering from other country, I prefer that than sitting at Ghana and I'm still suffer. Yes.
Well, aren't you scared about all the stories about people going to Libya?
As of the living at Ghana, they don't have anything that small-scale mining, Galamsey, that they depend on it, has been broken.
This place is a typical mining site. This particular place used to be a very vibrant market. The women here used to sell for the miners, but due to the ban on Galamsey, they have nothing to do. This place is virtually empty. For market women, this is what some have resorted to. Nanasa Sumensa, reporting for Joy News.
And back here in Accra, 80 industrial companies have now been identified to receive government stimulus package for viable but distressed businesses. The selection is after an assessment of over 129 applications received from the business community since the beginning of this year. This was disclosed by Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Robert Ahomka Lindsay during a meeting with some German businesses in Accra. Ghana has been identified as a favorable business and investment hub in the sub-region by the German government. Now, Ebenezer Sabote has been attending the particular meeting and now joins me in the studio to give us some more updates. Now, Eben, good afternoon, welcome.
Hi, Emmanuel.
All right, so what kind of companies have been involved in this particular situation?
Okay, so we are looking at companies that some time ago, they were very viable, but today, due to one or two issues, you know, we had issues with power, issues with inflation challenges that some companies have faced some time back due to one or two. Those are the kind of companies that are going to receive the package. And before they will receive the package, it's going to be based on some criteria, which the minister disclosed that it's going to be whether you are able to employ as many people as you stated in your business plan. And then also they look at size and then performance of the company over the years, financially and also technically. All this comes to play before
which are some of these companies that have been selected?
He declined mentioning the names because, you know, the companies are yet to get the money or the funds, so he didn't want to go ahead of himself. But what he did mention to us is that we have companies in agriculture, we have companies in textile, we have companies in finance and manufacturing. I think there was another one too in electronics, IT and electronics here, and all this selection.
Okay, and when exactly are they expected to receive these funds?
They'll be receiving the funds, I think, sometimes before the end of the second quarter of next year, from what he disclosed to us. You remember there was a time when the Minister of Trade himself, Alan Chairman, they disclosed that more than 100 applications were received by the ministry and they were going through. So from the information we had, they are going to receive the funds by the first quarter of next year, 2018. Yeah.
Right. So you spoke with the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry. What has he been saying?
I think we should listen to him on some of the issues that came up during the event, and he will explain more.
Transformation is the route that we have taken towards changing fundamentally our economy. And in doing that, to be honest, if there is a modern economy that if we had aspired for us to engage to, and I'm fortunate enough to have a bit of history both in Germany and in Britain, we prefer an economy that looks a bit more like Germany than an economy that looks more like a British. Not because there is anything wrong with the services sector, but we believe that the backbone of any strong economy is an industrial base. And I think the Germans have shown that to be very clear. I don't think this is debatable. And most countries today are looking to do that. Some have lost it and trying to rediscover it. So we want to make sure we get that. So every ministry, department, agency of government, whatever program we are following, links back to the job creation through the industrial transformation. Some of it may not, the tenants may not come out very clearly, but is directly linked to that. So free education is to make sure we have the very critical, most important asset to any industry, which is people, part of that process. And I will talk a little bit about that. So within the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we have a 10-point agenda. I know there's one that has come to people's minds, but I will take a little bit of time just to explain the main tenets of that. Just one second, Yofi. I'm just going to, I've not quite gone through that, so that we're fine. On the introduction, it's fine. We have a 10-point agenda in what we're doing, and I'm going to try and pick those that I think are very relevant to German businesses. But I was very interested to hear, Professor Grosser, you mentioned that, I think you said in 80% of the countries you operate, you have a manufacturing. And we would like that 80% to include Ghana at the core of it. Because our interest, very simply, is we want manufacturing. Manufacturing.
All right, so that was the Deputy Trade and Industry Minister, Robert Ahomka Lindsay. Now, it was a meeting between German business delegation and some local businesses. Now, what was it about and what are the issues that came up there?
Okay, the meeting is actually to create a platform for German businesses who have interest in Ghana to operate. We all know that the German president is in Ghana. He's currently meeting President Akufo-Addo in the Flagstaff House. So as part of his meeting over here, they've planned this high business delegation meeting with members from Association of Ghana Industries. We have members from some other business, GOTA, and other business associations. There were GIPC reps also there. So it's just for them to foster relationships so that both companies can identify where they are supposed to go in terms of business. And let me also mention that the German delegation have identified some key business areas in Ghana. And as I speak, they have 70 of their men on the ground that are doing survey in some parts of the savannah areas, so that before this team leaves, the next team that will come, they know that they are coming to establish in Ghana. So there seems to be some prospect between Ghana and German business delegation.
Now, what have the Germans been saying about the performance of Ghanaian businesses so far?
They have high hopes. They think that Ghana has come a long way, and looking at how the economy is picking up, you know that our inflation has now, come to a very stable, and we have a very stable economic, dispensation and democratic environment. Our democratic environment is also good for business. So they think that Ghana is the place to be. Ghana is the investment hub for the West African, sub-region. So if they want to establish their presence in West Africa, then it must start from Ghana. Those are some of the words that came out from them, and you could see that there's so much, high hopes among themselves.
Will there be any follow-up meeting after this particular forum?
Yes, but some of the follow-up meetings are not open for the media, so we couldn't actually attend. I remember one of the delegation members asking the deputy minister for a closed-door meeting over the years, so you could see that such meetings will not be disclosed to the media, and some, positive outcomes that are, able to come from that meetings may be given out to the media soon. And also, we have a delegation from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority as well. We're also meeting some of these members.
All right, thank you very much, Ebenezer, for that update. And that was Ebenezer Sabote briefing us on the meeting between German business delegation and their local counterparts right here in the country, and where it was disclosed that 80 companies or 80 businesses have been selected to benefit from the stimulus package promised by government. Away from that, Ghana Breweries Limited, GGBL, has launched a new promotion dubbed Star Win Gold to award loyal consumers of their products. Speaking at the launch of the promotion, marketing manager of the company, Carsten Schima, said the promotion is inspired by the Gold Quality Month Award the company won in 2016 and 2017 as Ghana's best tasting beer for its taste and quality.
Launching the big Star Win Gold promotion in Ghana. So we are very happy, proud and excited that we have won the prestigious Gold Quality Award two consecutive years. And we thought that is a good way to give also something back to Ghana. So we have cutted our gold medal into 200 pieces to put it into a promotion that consumers can win very simply by opening a fresh bottle of Cold Star, looking under the crown and checking if they have won gold. And to make it even more exciting, we have also added over 500,000 bottles of free Star beer. Very simple, open the bottle, look under the crown, check what is your price, is it gold, is it free beer, or is it only a sorry. But even if it is sorry, don't worry, there's still a great refreshing cold Star in front of you. So we are happy to celebrate the top quality of Star, and that's what we want to share with Ghana, to give something back to you. So we have significantly over 500,000 free bottles of Star beer. And that's the reason why we come to a total value of 3 million Ghana cedis.
And time now to go on the marketplace for today. Many thanks for your company, and of course I believe you've enjoyed every aspect of the show today. Do join me again same time tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Have a good afternoon.